Hey everyone, today I'm going to a thrift store with only this $10 bill. My goal is to find some cool and unique items to repurpose as planters. I'll make any DIY modifications needed and then plant succulents from my garden into the new planters. Finding planters at a thrift store is really fun and affordable. Most thrift stores have a sale every day. I got lucky. It was 50% off the whole store. Surprisingly, the first thing that caught my eye was this G.I. Joe toy car. It had a large hole in the back that got my imagination going. There was plenty of room for succulents, and it also looked like I could put some plants in the cab. The price was nice, and why not? I enjoy putting plants in weird stuff. I'm rounding up any half cents to make sure I stay under my $10 budget. Next, I came across this plastic skull LED light. Halloween is coming up, and I know that a plant inside this skull will be a great gift for someone who has a Halloween obsession. I try to find a balance of putting plants in unique pieces and more typical planters like this gray pot. It has an interesting texture. It will need a drainage hole in the bottom. This little trailer is super cool. It reminds me of a little camping trailer my parents had. And when I turned it over, I noticed it was originally a succulent planter. I really liked this bear holding its honey pot. It had plenty of space for some sweet succulents to call home. I also enjoy repurposing other people's art so that it can live on. Not exactly sure what this bowl is used for, but the design on the front is cool, and I envision plants pouring out of both sides of it. Keeping the sales tax in mind, I looked for one last item to stay under my $10 budget. I chose this pinkish pot. After adding the sales tax, I came in just under budget. I'm all set up in the backyard. I have my first thrift store find that I'm going to modify, and I'm going to go ahead and do this skull. On this skull, the eyes used to light up like there were little LED lights in there, and there's a small battery compartment there with no battery. And it's kind of perfect because there's a nice little hole there for some drainage. So all I need to do is cut this open, put some soil in it and a plant, and it'll be ready to roll. It's kind of like a hard plastic, but it can still kind of bend a little bit. Let's see. Nope, it hates me. I think I'm gonna go get some scissors because this really isn't working that well. Oh! That's how hard the plastic is. I just busted these scissors. Great. So this is probably gonna take a little while, and I'll speed it up as I need to. It definitely took longer than I expected. Yes, I got it open. Get all these sharpish edges off. It is definitely not a perfect circle, but I don't need a perfect circle. I just have regular potting soil I'm putting in this. I've chosen this plant right here. You can see that it was in a little bowl previously, and it's still in its original shape from that. And I'm covered in glitter from this skull. I could put this thing in there just as is, and break it down. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off just a couple of these so that I don't have many of this particular plant. So I'm just gonna break it down here. As I go, I try to not, destroy the root ball of the plant. I do prefer to put rooted plants in instead of cuts, but I'll plant cuts, or maybe this one. Ooh, yeah, you know what, let's see. That's the one right there. I'm gonna go with the big one. It just looks so good. And it's got all these 1, 2, 3, 4 little tiny shoots coming out off this big one. And I still have 2 more that I can go plant elsewhere. It's always smart to add soil over your soil container so you don't have to pick up any remnants that fall down on the ground. And I'm not always the cleanest with my plant projects, so I've got to learn these little things as I go along. Give that a couple little bangs, but I think that's gonna be good. Awesome, look at that. Skull, the skull is the skull. I think that's gonna be cool as well. All right, up next is this pink pot. It does not have a hole in the bottom, so I have to put a hole in the bottom because I prefer to have all of my planters have holes in the bottom if possible. To put that hole in the bottom, I am going to use a drill. and a special bit. This bit might look a little different, and that's because it is. It is made to go through glass, tile, ceramic, certain materials like that. That's going pretty good. Gradual pressure, slowly. I don't want to overdo it because if you press too hard as you're drilling, this could crack the whole piece. And I've had that happen before and it's really frustrating. So just nice and slow, nice and slow. Sometimes again, I'd add water because this bit gets really hot. You don't want to touch this bit. All right, I'm starting to go through there. So now that I've seen the hole, I'm just gonna go real slow and just, I don't wanna, again, bust this thing. There we go. I have the hole in the bottom there. And kind of the reason I went with this pink one is because pink and green, they just kind of go together pretty well. I found a few plants from my collection and a cut that I am going to put inside of this pot, and I want to do 3 little ones and really give them some room to grow and look nice. I'm gonna start off with my tallest one and the one that's gonna grow the tallest, and this is a jade plant, Chrysula. Kind of want this in the back, so then when it starts to grow, because it'll be the tallest, it'll kind of go out the back, and these other 2 will do their thing in the front. So this is a Graptivaria Fred Ives or Eves plant. This I started out as a leaf, and it is also ready for a new home for sure. Like there. I want this guy right there. I want him low, get low, yeah. And now this is, I believe, a ghosty or a ghost plant. I want to say it's a ghosty. I just got this cut from my aunt's house, and I'm gonna take off these leaves because I don't need all of them. And these leaf propagate really great, so I'm gonna be able to make a new succulent with each one of these leaves that I take off of. This one it's ready to roll, it's dried out, it's callous, ready to plant, and I think I'm just gonna like put it right in there. And I like that. I've got a nice mixture of color going on there. I think that's great. Oh man, I'm actually excited. I think I'm gonna give this to somebody as a gift. Save these leaves, new plants coming. I think next up, I'm gonna go with this trailer here. So originally before there was a succulent in here, and it says even grown in Canada, which is cool. But I think it was more of an enclosure for a small pot that would go in with the succulent. I want the whole thing to be a planter now. So because it's like a ceramic type material, I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole in the bottom here. And I'm going to drill in through the top because I don't wanna set it upside down and possibly crack it. That's something to keep in mind when you're converting your own planters. Ooh, this material is a lot softer than the last one. I went through in seconds, right? In a little bit of a creative funk there for a second. Pulled this one out of a planter. This is a baby that I took, a little pup off another plant. This particular one, it stays green like that. And I think that these are gonna really have a nice dynamic in there going on. Both grow out and just kind of be fighting each other for space. And I think it's actually gonna look really cool once they're both kind of busting out of the trailer there. All right, look at that, done deal, trailer done. These 2 agave are gonna fight for space and fill in really nicely there. Out of all the things at the thrift store, this was the one that looked the most like a planter, because it's just a cool looking pot. I really like the texture of it, and these little abrasive spots on it look really cool. All right, so again, no hole. I think maybe this was, judging by the watermarks on the inside, had another plant in there at one point, but in its own pot. All right, so I gotta put a hole in this one. Let's see how that goes. Oh yeah. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was quick. What's really cool is my grandma, the first person I knew to own a succulent, this was her first succulent, and is a relative or a clone of one that made it to this garden 30 years ago. So I'm gonna add that in there. I'm going to add these string of rubies or little pickles. The only thing that makes the name change is the color. Right now they probably look more like little pickles. And then this is an aeonium. I don't know if it's the black rose or not, because there are so many aeoniums that look similar and are hard to distinguish. But yeah, I'm gonna have something that hangs out, something that stays in, and something that goes up. And that's really cool when you can get that all into one planter. Fill this up here. Let's see, I'm gonna get this out and just see how that root ball's looking. Okay, well, it wasn't in there for a long time, so that makes sense. Kind of go like that. I like that right there. Cool. Again, I kind of like to have this more towards the back there, and then I'm gonna lean that there for now. I'm just gonna clean off this discarded leaves. This was not in the best spot, so it's really happy that it's scoring a new home right now. That's gonna go in somewhere like that. Yeah, there we go. I really like to use like the rule of thirds, so I'll put 1, 2, 3, just around in a little circle there. Because once I get it filled in, then I can really start getting those string of rubies in there. I'm gonna put in the string of rubies here. I pulled these out, they kind of already have some roots. I have a lot of this plant. So I'm gonna just kind of get them buried in there, and then I'm gonna add more. So I've got a couple really good strands here that I'm gonna have come off the whole thing. Man, I'm liking how that's looking right there, I really am. Oh man, in like a few weeks, this thing is gonna look amazing. And what you can also do is you can guide your succulents. People don't realize this. Like, you can just slowly, every once in a while, give them a little bend here and guide them to where you want them to go. All right, there we go. This though is just kind of like a sauce bowl. I don't know, tell me in the comments. It's got like a little pour thing there. I'm just assuming that it's for pouring, like a gravy or something. And I like these boat style because you can just put a bunch of little ones in there and then they blow out of it. And so that's the plan. I'm gonna just put a bunch of little tiny plants in there. All right, I've found a bunch of little plants to put in here. I've got a miniature pine tree, I've got a graptivaria, I've got a pink ice plant, or ice plant, I believe. This is a jelly bean plant. This is an agave that has some color. It's purple. I'm not sure. I got it off of Death Bloom. Don't know what kind of plant it is. And then this is technically a succulent type of cactus. I'm gonna throw it all into this little thing. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oh boy, this is nice. Sometimes you can tell when you're working with a quality ceramic, because when I start to drill into it, I get nowhere instantly. Don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break. There, oh, yes. I threw all the plants in pretty quickly. I think I'm gonna go find one more plant to put in here too. All right, so I found this Firestorm. It's a sedum. It's got some orange, not a lot of orange redness going on in here. So again, I'm gonna take these leaves off because this one propagates really well. The only one that's a cutting, but I'm really confident it'll do fine. Yeah, this thing is gonna look like an absolute mess for a little bit, but I could put some rocks in there, make it look a whole lot better. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Ooh, yeah, this one looks way better. And I think the rocks kind of suit the style of the piece too. Something I really like about rocks is that you can also really use them, use their weight and size and shape to guide the plants to where you want them to be. When you go to water it, the rocks prevent soil from flowing out over. Basically, the weight of them keeps the soil down in there. Thinking that wasn't gonna look very good, but now I'm actually excited about it. Sometimes when you plant things, it just doesn't always turn out how you want it to, and you just gotta rebound and keep planting, you know? But that, I'm gonna be happy with that. The moment I saw this in the thrift store, I knew I wanted to put plants in it. Really cool opening on the back where maybe there was like a turret or something, or this is where the guy stood out, the G.I. Joe. And then inside, it has a nice little planter area there, so it can get some plant passengers and a big feature plant coming out the back. It is electronic and it has a battery case on the bottom. It makes noise, but the battery is dead. It's just going like, ah, ah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. I couldn't find my right screwdriver, so, oh, that wasn't actually too hard. Hey, that's ready to go. Oh, there we are. I don't see any holes in this. Oh, you know what? I only need to drill a hole in here because I don't see anything in the bottom. I'm just gonna use this same bit on here. Usually I'd use like a regular bit, but this is soft plastic, so I'm not overly concerned about it. There we go, just like that. And now that is gonna go out through all the little holes there. Open this compartment up and just kind of fill it to where it's gonna close up. Boom. I'm gonna add a little bit of soil in here. I'm gonna make these like come out all the windows. I gotta be a little gentle, but you get the drift. It's really a slow process because I'm trying not to rip all the leaves off. This plant is durable, but not as durable. not durable. So I grabbed 2 of them, which is a good move. If I crack or break this one, it's a really easy one to propagate. It's already got roots shooting out everywhere. Here, I don't want this. Bye. Turn that, because these guys got to come out the window. Sometimes when you're putting plants inside unique stuff, it's a process to have your vision come to life. Well, I'm almost there. What about this little guy? I want this little guy too. Come on, get this little guy out of there. Come on, little guy, there we go. Oh yeah, got him. Okay, so now these things will grow out and shoot, and out of the top, got some little jade soldiers here. I'm not sure how big these jades will grow because they're in there with so many other plants, but that was kind of the plan, because what I want is for these to kind of like stay small and kind of grow with the piece and not totally out of it, if you know what I mean. Right, there we go, last one. Okay, look at that. That's gonna look good. It's going in, that's looking pretty good. And now it's time for the main piece here. And I am rocking this Echeveria. Since this has a long stem and I can just kind of push it in there, I'm gonna fill the rest of this little back area up with soil. Ooh, this is what I was worried about, that if soil got in there, it would not stay closed. But that's staying closed, okay. But anyways, here we go. This is where you want to be gentle. I'm not afraid to touch leaves. This thing's been in the shade, so it's gonna love being in this new container with some sun coming its way. All right, there we go, the G.I. Joe. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Vroom, 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 vroom. And I'm most excited about seeing how this one progresses. I almost forgot about the bear. I noticed it had a crack when I got it home and this piece fell off, so I put it off to the side. I'm going to drill a hole down in here and hopefully this isn't too hard. Feels pretty decent though, so let's see how this goes. I'm gonna go really slow. Ooh, felt good. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I'll leave a sticker or price tag on where I drill the hole through, because that will keep the surface together as I drill through. So I'm gonna just really gently set the bear down here. I can go back in through the hole now. Let's see, there we go, like that. There we go, and I'm through. Oh, great, and with minimal exposure, that's a little pro tip. If you leave the sticker on there, sometimes it'll help you out when you're trying to drill out a cleaner hole. Now it's time to fill this baby up. It's got a pretty good pretty good crevice in there, so I'm just gonna add some soil there. I'm gonna take this Echeveria out of this pot. It's getting a little crowded in here. This is one of those pots where I just shove a bunch of different plants in and let them grow and get bigger together. And then I'll eventually take them out individually for their own specific use or project. Ooh, I like it though. It's a really cool looking plant. I really like this. This is actually the only one of these that I believe I have. I'm just gonna plop this right down in there. There we go, into its spot. Come around here and just slowly add in the soil around the base. Originally I was thinking about trying to find something that looked like honey because it's the honey pot, right? But I think that this plant really goes with his overall color scheme. The beauty of it is you can always change and swap out plants, and that's part of the fun. All in all, I'm really excited with my haul here for only $10. I made some really cool planters, a very good investment, I would say, and something that you should try as well.